everyone. We have a game with the white pieces against Saeed Balba, rated 11-19. We open up with d4, controlling the center, and he responds in the same fashion with d5. We develop a piece and put pressure on the center. We threaten to play e4. He copies us. A bit weird. So we can play e4. This move does not stop us. If he takes our pawn, he does have a double attack on our d4 pawn. However, maybe we can intermezzo push it. Right? So let's do this, and if he takes, we can push and kick the knight around. And then maybe we can take the central pawn, but maybe we don't have to. Like if you just take this pawn here, there's a knight here. I mean a pawn here hanging. But if we kick the knight first, where does it go? This runs into stuff, so this, it hits our pawn twice, but we can just kick it again. Because our pawn is currently defended twice. So taking this would allow him to recapture. But a3, an improving move for free. We love improving moves for free. And I guess knight back? Oh, that's not it. So he loses a piece. So I'm going to take with the queen so I can lure him into an endgame, a piece down. And it comes with threats. He does have two pawns for the piece, so that's something, but a piece is a piece. Especially when it's not like he gets any lead in development or anything. He's just down a piece and he can't castle, so that's not good. He also has an overextended pawn. So let's develop quickly and or with threats. Bishop out threatens to win the pawn or put the knight here. So let's start with that. It also threatens to long castle with a great spot for the rook. So this looks very promising for white. Super nice position. All because we kicked a knight in the center. And you'll see that's a recurring thing I talk about. Kicking knights in the center. That's why having a pawn presence is so important. So he attacks the knight but doesn't address the issue. So we win material for free. And even if he moves the rook, it walks into the x-ray of the bishop. Not ideal. Not ideal. And his king is now open, exposed. We can develop and king safety for free. It looks terrible for black. Now he only has one pawn for the piece. Okay, so he does move the rook, but we're just going to castle for free. Develop our rook to a beautiful spot. All in one move. It's the most powerful move in chess in a vacuum. King e7, getting out of the check. We could harass the king more if we want. But we should probably develop because he can't really move his bishops. So because his development is terrible, I kind of want to keep bringing pieces out. I also want to just go f3 and just break this down. Because if he takes, he helps us develop the knight where we want to put it. I mean, if he doesn't take, we just take it. So we can bring a piece out somewhere, a minor piece, or go f3. I mean, everything's winning. I'm just going to go f3 so I can put my knight where I want it. Why should I have to go to a weird square? He's got this overextended pawn. Let's get rid of it. It's on our side of the board. And now we get the knight where we want. Our development's beautiful. He's going here to try to develop and free his rook a little bit. This all makes sense. We now have this one turn to, let's say, give this check. He'll develop. We'll take the rook. I mean, you could have done that at any point, but I was just holding off on it because his rook was trapped. Now that his rook, has a way to leave. I guess there's no checkmating net, is there? I'm not really seeing a checkmating net because of this square. So let's just win material. I mean, like, if you take this pawn, which is hanging, he could just move the rook. If you take this pawn, theoretically he doesn't have to take your knight. He could still move the rook. But that just seems worse because his king gets opened. I don't know. Let's throw this one in. Doesn't really matter. Play whatever move your heart desires. But look at the tasty horsey. Don't you want to eat it? Yeah, you do. So we take his rook. And now we have this file for our other rook, which is really nice. And he can't move his bishop, which means he can't move his rook. He plays f6, which means his knight. Ugh. Terrible. Terrible. We're going to take free stuff and then just put our rook in the center. And I mean, look at black's position. What is this? It's not chess, right? Okay. So let's just continue with our plan. The bishop is now pinned. Happens to be pinned because he never moved it. Maybe he should tuck his king away or something. And our pieces all look... I mean, the whole board is open. So our bishops are just slicing and dicing through everything. Our rooks. My opponent left the game. Saeed, don't leave the game, Saeed. It's a valuable lesson right here, Saeed. It's called Don't Be Pawn Hungry in the Opening. Let's claim victory. Saeed left. He's angry. So we open with d4. Our opponent goes d5. We now bring the knight out, threatening to play e4. If they play knight f6, they stop us, and we go into the Jabal of London. But he didn't stop me. So I have this possibility of playing e4. You can still play bishop f4. You can play lots of moves. But I like to play in the center. There was another speedrun episode earlier where I didn't do this. I didn't push my pawn here. I did something else. And so you could check that out if you're interested. But here I pushed only because we have this move, intermezzo d5. And now his knight is weird. And like you saw in the game, if he goes to the side, it just gets kind of trapped. And you can't go in the center. So you have to go back home. And when your best move is to go back home and undevelop, and you know, humans have a very hard time doing a move like that, especially in a position like this where nothing's developed and you're giving me the turn and I'm just gonna take stuff. It looks very weird to do that as black, and yet you have to. The second he goes here, I'm immediately up a pawn, and that's just a lot. So we improve our position for free, and oops, no. And instead of the knight going back to the corner where you have to, he just sacks it in the center, which is weird. I'm just curious, if he does go back in the corner, any developing move is fine. If we give this check and he bishop d7s, then we take the knight because he can't fianchetto it. That's interesting. That's kind of like a new idea I haven't really seen. Because I didn't want to take the knight, because after he takes, he can fianchetto. But I guess if you throw this in, that's clever. And if he blocks this way and we take... Oh, there's this whole thing. It doesn't work for black, yeah. Okay, so he takes now. Forced move. We're plus 3.3. The game is over. We're up a piece. So forced move. Develop for free. Plus 5. Forced move. Free stuff. Let me turn the lines off. And now it's plus 5.5. King safety. Development. Not much to say here. And then you can just develop a piece. Bring your knights out. Do whatever you want. You could probably even throw the G pawn up the board, which maybe I should have tried. That looks kind of cool. Taking away his escape square. Also making sure you can never play F5 and support this pawn, so you can maybe just win it outright. What does the engine say? Bishop D6 is probably some forcing sequence. Move your knight, that's lame. Develop, develop. King B1 is lame. Why would you even need to play King B1 in a position like this? What about this? Boom. Still plus 5.5. I like it. Okay. And then the rest of the game is just, I mean, it's over. Anytime you see your opponent's stuff on your side of the board, you can always consider kicking that thing or breaking it down. Otherwise, he'll have a space advantage because he's on your side of the board. We find the tactic. It's plus 8. I mean, hopefully you can win positions that are so winning like this. There's no way to mess this up. There's nothing to learn from someone trying to explain this to you. All you need to know is that because of the crazy disharmony, the way the pieces all block each other, these pieces are worth even less than you think. Like, let's say you're up a rook here. If you're just counting, you're up way more than a rook because of how bad the pieces are. But there's nothing else to say about this game. 98% accuracy. Always consider kicking a knight when you can. Moral of the story, what was that? Good luck in your chess. Goodbye.